I'm not being funny, but are these people absolutely bonkers? They must be absolutely crazy. So for this video, I'm going to have a seat. I thought I'd come somewhere touristy to do it because it's about the protest that took place last year. So before you all start getting on your high horse, read this that's coming up on the screen and I'll chat over the top of it. What they're basically trying to do is they're trying to hit the Airbnb market. And to be honest, I don't blame them. There's far too many people around Europe that are buying property and around the world. Now the Chinese, the Ukrainians, the Russians, just to name a few, that are buying up vast amounts of property in Spain and putting them on the holiday let market. Some legally, fair play, and some illegally. Now the problem with that then being is, in places like Torrevieja, for instance, I mean down the seafront here, there is very, very few full-time residents. And I know because we stayed here for 2 years, there are very, very few full-time residents down this end of Torrevieja. And at night it shows. I mean, there's a street just along here, right behind me, that there's squatters in the whole building. Now, I am completely with the Spanish to end what is going on in Spain. It's a free-for-all just now. And people will say, yep, the Spanish government are taking the taxes and they want to take it in one hand and then do away with tourism. This is not a get at tourism. This is not an anti-tourist rally. It's not an anti-tourist demonstration. And it will probably be all over the media this year. It will be over the media this year that this is some kind of, it's against British tourists. They don't want you in Spain. And then you get people saying, well, bugger them. They can bugger off. And then in the meantime, Spanish tourism hits an all-time high for the second year in a row. The irony. But anyway, I digress. The fact is that rents in Spain have went completely bonkers. Even the apartment that we had in the seafront here in Torrevieja, when we took that on, it was €700 a month. When we left, it was an old Spanish looking property. It hadn't been modernised at all. And the landlord then decided to put it on for almost, well, more than double. She went straight on to Idealista when we were still in the apartment and she was sitting listing it right in front of us. She put it on for 1,600. I think she ended up getting €900 for it. Unbelievable. And yes, that was a Spanish landlord and she was taking advice from a neighbouring landlord that wasn't Spanish, but it is what it is, you know. People try and make as much money as they can, but with Spain bringing in the property tax, which is to try and stop people purely speculating, buying up property. Now, before you say, oh, it's going to affect holiday homes, it's only going to affect a holiday home if you plan to buy it to rent out, or, you know, I don't really want to go down the holiday home route because it's nothing to do with tourism. And that fact that if people are coming to stay in a hotel, fair play to them. You know, that's the kind of tourism that Spain wants. What it doesn't want is complete areas of towns and cities like Malaga, like Ibiza, like Barcelona, like Cadiz. You know, there's all these cities around Spain that are getting bought up by landlords that want to make money. And it's forcing the locals out. Now, what it does, hear me out on this one. If you're going to force the locals out, they're going to have to move further away. So they're going to then ask for a pay increase. And then you then have your call inflation. So then that starts pushing the prices of everything else up. So you're no longer going to get your cheap food, your cheap beer when you come on holiday to Spain. And some say, oh, fair enough. You know, we'll pay what we pay back home. That's not what Spain's about. Spain's about the people. Spain's about making sure that everyone, you know, there's no hierarchy of who's who in this country. Nobody cares. And what they do care about is the people being able to have affordable rents. And they are going to be protesting this summer. So when the media in the UK turn around and says, there's the anti-tourists are at it again. The anti-tourist demonstrations are at it again in Spain. just remember this video. In fact, send it to your friends and say, look, it's pish. Sorry for saying that word in this video, but it's pure pish. As us Scottish would say. Anyway, God, it's not warm today. And there's crazy people in the water. It's freezing. It's about the protest that took last year. They're going to take place again this year. They are going to take place again this year. I'm on a Facebook group where the Spanish are getting their act together for the protests. Now, if you remember last year, the British media said it was anti-tourists protest. It's not anti-tourist protest at all. It's protest about the price of rents in the major cities. Now, in the Madrid area, they are taken to the streets in numbers, and they're doing it on a precinct by precinct level, and they're basically trying to get landlords to reduce the price of the rent. They're basically saying, look, 5 years ago, somewhere that cost €600 a month to rent now costs €1,200. That's a 50% increase in 6 years. And they're saying, what has the landlord done to get this increase? And they're like, basically nothing. So when you do come on holiday this year, think about the type of accommodation that you are buying, or you're going to rent, or you're going to stay in. Think about, are you going to stay in a hotel, or you're going to stay in an Airbnb? Now, I'm all for the concept of Airbnb before anyone gets it. Airbnb, the concept was meant to be for sharing an empty room, renting out a third room, not renting out whole properties, which has then become, that are actually now more expensive than renting a hotel. But it is what it is. So when you're coming to Spain this summer, remember, if you do see these, come and enjoy it. I'm sure Torrevieja will get this sorted out before the summer, even though they did just spend lots of money on it. And there is crazy people coming out the water way up here. Who is it? There, he's just came out the water. Absolute bonkers. I wouldn't be going in that today, it'll be freezing. Anyway, where's the sun? Where is it? Can you find it and send it back to Spain? Now make sure that you give this video a thumbs up and check out this video that is part of Torrevieja, and you would never think that a place like this was in Torrevieja. Check it out.